I've held on for long enough talking about this issue, and I think in today's video we are going to talk about the issue plaguing World of Tanks console, and that is the fact that there are so many re-released items on this game, and they are continually doing it throughout the season passes, and the most recent addition being the T77, the tier 8 premium tank, that's now re-available for everyone to be able to get again. Now that is a massive slap in the face to pretty much everyone playing World of Tanks console at this moment in time, because ultimately if you're playing World of Tanks console and you're playing along, you've been doing it for years, you don't want to have the same tank 4 times over. Like we've seen with some vehicles. I'm not saying the T77 is 4 times over, this is the second time around that you can pick it up for free, but at the same time, why would you want a tank that you may already have, and especially when you've got the fear of missing out that Wargaming always implement into the game, like, yeah, you need to grind this operation, and then it gets released literally the next year, the exact same operation where you can pick up the same tank under probably slightly different scenarios and usually easier scenarios. So yeah, I just don't like it. They're not limited time events. Wargaming haven't said that they're limited. They're not saying like they will never re-release it or anything at the time when they're releasing these vehicles. Like right now, the T77 could go on again in an operation or some form of earn operation or some sort of season pass later on in the line. And I'm just trying to make a stance that this probably shouldn't be happening in World of Tanks console, because although yes, you do get refunded the silver, it's not the point. It's not really an incentive for me to jump onto the game and actually play World of Tanks. And I'm not just speaking for myself, because there are tons of people that were super disappointed with this season's, or this new season that's coming up, the Awakened season's World War II content, because ultimately it's a tank that we already have. There is no real kind of interesting part to the season rewards other than the new Cobra, which is absolutely amazing. I love it when they bring in new premiums, and I feel like as part of the season pass it would just be better to just bring in new tanks as a way to earn them, sell them at the same time, but just make them that we are able to get new content. I just find it very, very mundane, very lazy, to be honest with you, or at least very money grabby. It might not be lazy because they're introducing new vehicles, but it's definitely a point where we don't typically get that many kind of free stuff that is new. And although, you know, that can be said for a lot of video games, doesn't mean that this one has to follow suit. And certainly with the player base and the committed player base that we have, we definitely don't want to be earning the same tank. I mean, just give us another tank. It could literally be one of the worst premium tanks in the game if it had to be. As long as it hasn't been given out already, I think that would be massively helpful for everyone involved, because it just feels so bad when you're kind of grinding out this long ass operation, you're spending ages and ages and ages doing it, and then suddenly, slap in the face, here you go, here's a T77, but because you've already got it, because you did the operation last year that is basically a revamped version or exactly the same operation this year, here you go, you can now have it. It's kind of annoying, kind of don't like it at all, but there we go. Of course, leave your comments in the comment section down below, and whilst we're on the topic of getting a few things off of my chest, it's a bit of a rant video to be honest, but I've been seeing so much of the content, or new content, driven onto Wargaming's pride and joy, the Cold War vehicles, that I feel like they're just pushing back World War II content, and I feel like, from my own expressed opinion, Wargaming console are just trying to basically remove the development from World War II. I genuinely think that there is no other reason that they would be pulling so much content, how they would be delaying so much World War II content and then re-releasing or releasing content on Cold War and just pumping it out. It seems like every month we get a new tank on Cold War. Seems like every other month we get a new tank line on Cold War, and World War II we've not had a new tank or a new tank line in quite a while, or at least comparatively to the other game mode, which I understand there's loads more tanks that they could pick, but there are still tons of tanks that could be on World War II and just haven't, and the ones that we have got, things like the NM116, have been pure lazy. It has been nothing but lazy from Wargaming. I'm not even joking. Literally re-releasing a tank, editing absolutely nothing about the statistics, releasing it going, I wonder whether this Cold War vehicle that is supposed to come up against Cold War vehicles is going to be broken in World War II. Oh yeah, it is. It definitely is. Oh no, we don't know why that happened. Well, it's because you literally released a vehicle that was supposed to go against far more powerful vehicles, comparatively, tier for tier, and then released it at tier 8. Like, what even is that? Like, something with ridiculous DPM, ridiculous vision, with ridiculous camo, with ridiculous mobility. Yes, it has no armour, but that is literally it. That is it. There is no... It's unbelievable that Wargaming get away with this sort of stuff, and yes, it's time to actually hold themselves accountable, and you know what, make some actual decisions on the game where they should actually just pull their finger out and go, you know what, I should actually probably nerf this premium tank that's blatantly overpowered. I'm looking at you, Panzer V4. I always come back to it. That tank needs to go into hell. It should be so far back down in the tiers that no one should be playing it. It's absolutely outrageous that it's still available. Wargaming have basically just gone around the issue completely. They say one thing and then they're like, oh yeah, we're going to nerf the Panzer V4. They're like just trying to please the audience. Just say you don't want to nerf it. Don't go, oh yes, we will nerf it at some point later down the line. Just say, no, we're never nerfing it. Literally just say it, because at this point you're just lying when you say, oh yeah, we'll review it and we'll decide on it at a later date. It's just absolute lies, and it's actually sickening to kind of see it in the game. And I know this has been a very much a rant video, but I feel like it's the only way that literally ever gets forward to Wargaming, that the players are frustrated about seeing this sort of thing happen to the game that they're playing. I'm in no way saying that we should not get any development into Cold War. I think I actually really enjoy the game mode. I'm just saying that it just be very, very transparent, and transparency is really, really good for a player base to actually understand in the game and be able to, you know, make their own mind up as to whether they want to play this game. Don't be kind of shading around being like, oh yeah, we're secretly going to do this in the background, and you guys, I guess you'll have to put up or shut up. And at this point, it is literally a case of that. So I genuinely think that, yes, they should be a hell of a lot more transparent. Give us a roadmap. What are you actually working on? Don't go, well, we can submit a ticket. We always get this on the kind of news articles. We've submitted a ticket to see whether we can do it, when you get a question. It's like, that doesn't answer the question though, does it? It's like, yes, you've submitted a ticket, but we never ever ever hear back from those tickets, or we don't hear as a community what's actually happening, what the priority is, what the response is, other than from like a very vague generic statement that we usually get from someone that, you know, cannot impact the game directly. It's a community manager at the end of the day who is doing the best that they can. They're taking our feedback. It's not them that actually make the decisions. It's just there is no real relay of the information that has gone to the people developing the game coming back to the actual players themselves. It's like, you can ask a one-way question, but if you never hear the answer, then what's the point in asking the question in the first place, other than getting kind of an initial thought from someone that cannot actually directly physically impact the game that we'll all be playing. So yeah, that's the rant over. I think just needed to get a few things off my chest. You may not like what I've said, you might like what I've said, but at the end of the day, it's just my opinion. My opinion isn't always right. I'm not saying it is. I'm sure there are plenty of things that you guys disagree with. I'm sure that there are some of you who completely agree. But there you go. That is my unfiltered opinion on the development of World of Tanks console right now, and why I feel so frustrated when I jump on this game, and you're constantly seeing these different things that just agglomerate into one. It's like individually they're all pretty small, like they are fairly small, but when there's so many different things that have been highlighted by so many people, including yourselves probably, it really does absolutely it's just not fun. So yeah, that's my unfiltered opinion. We'll see what happens. I don't think anything's going to happen, but, you know, There we go. Hopefully that gives you an idea and an indication as to what I think about certain things that happen in the game. Of course, it's not hating on anyone. I'm not trying to be hateful. I am literally just giving my opinion about the game I play, and hopefully you guys can see that. Other than that, I hope you enjoy. If you want to check out some content, there's plenty on the channel as always, and I hope you will come back to the next video, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.